All right, welcome everybody to this week's call. Lucy, you might want to mute because we can hear you type. Welcome everyone to another Thursday call. Today we have in the room Diki Fauzan, Kalian, Lydie, Lucy, Matthew, who's always helping us, Presnu, Kiki, Kim, and Yofi. Welcome everyone. Please do add your names on the Etherpad. Today, Kiki's question is are you pro or against moving to the out from IRC? If you don't know what we're talking about, do watch the Monday call about Mozilla thinking about moving away from IRC, and please mention if you'd like to propose an alternative. We also have Angel and Anna Sophia that they're probably watching us. From somewhere else than video. Welcome everyone. Just a note, Mozilla will soon out move from video, and next week we're gonna have Julia, who is gonna help us and explain us how we're gonna move out of video and move to Zoom. So great news for the haters of YouTube video that I know that a lot of you had problems. Expect to know more about it next week. On shoutouts today, we have a shout out for the onboarding team, that is Team Robbie, Bala, Manel, and Gabriela, for working hard to screen and onboard new reps in the program. This is a work that has been done behind the scenes by those amazing people, and we would like to thank them for all the hard work they are doing, voting and thinking through applications. Thank you very much. The first topic of the day, we have community group portal Lucy and Mrinalini. As far as I know, Mrinalini had a problem connecting with something about storm and no connection in her area, but Lucy, I think that you can help us with that.
Yes, I will try and put on my Mrinalini hat, something about a dust storm, and I will try my best to do her part of it. She's working most closely with the current pilot group, but I'm also very involved, so should be able to do an okay job. So I don't know how many of you have had a chance to read the discourse post. We've been talking about this on and off for quite a while, but for the past 6 months, I think we've been running a pilot in India to try and connect groups who are interested in having more visibility, finding more collaborators, doing knowledge sharing, gaining recognition, and making it easier for people to discover them and for them to discover each other. Into a pilot, we've been using Splash, which some of you know is the events platform. So it's not really set up well for this, but it's been good enough to test with the 14 groups that are currently part of the program. There are new groups in that pilot who have just started. There's also groups that have been around for a really long time. As part of the pilot, they get to create profiles for their group and for themselves. They can register their members. They can attend community calls for members of the pilot, and they get a pilot newsletter. So we're trying to test with this what it would look like to create a central place for Mozillians to find, discover, and collaborate across groups, which many of you know we've never actually had a place where you could go and find a list of all the community groups in your area, and then where you could go and join them. So through this pilot, we've been getting a lot of really great feedback. And we've been hearing a lot of good things about what we would need to make this successful. So the first is something that I know is a hot topic right now, which is recognition. It's really hard to recognize groups or people when there's not a central place that shows you where people are and what they're up to. So we've heard some positive feedback that people are excited that this might help solve some of the recognition issues around visibility and being able to connect what they're doing with their Mozillian profiles. Especially the new groups in the pilot have talked a lot about this. If you're a group that's just getting started, it's really hard to feel recognized by Mozilla and to have other people be able to find you. The other big issue we've heard from the groups is that there's a lack of opportunities. It's hard to find things to do where there's going to be recognition attached to it. Group members are looking for ownership over their pages. Right now, groups that are part of the pilot, they get kind of the Splash page, but because Splash isn't really set up for this, they can't make it look exactly like what they want, update the text, add photos. So that's something we've heard definitely needs to be in a real tool and process. The other thing we've heard is that registration and the tool has to be really simple. People want to be able to make it really easy for members to join their groups, for new groups to be able to apply and be on the site and to be able to customize it. So user experience, we've heard, is going to be super important. So this is really exciting, and we're really moving forward with this idea of having a central portal where all groups across Mozilla will be able to register, be recognized, be discoverable in one place, and you'll be able to show your membership in multiple groups, and groups will be able to show their members. So that is the kind of like background. What I will talk about now, and I'll share my screen because I drew also a really pretty picture, is okay, so we've got this feedback. We understand that this is largely the right direction. People want the centralized place. People want recognition, discoverability, the ability to connect better. So I listed some of the things here: being able to discover communities, which means being able to see events. Are there any events happening in your areas? Being able to see groups, other groups in your areas, being able to see people profiles, be able to discover impactful opportunities. What are the campaigns that are running? What are the campaigns that other people are hosting? What are the activities? As well, what are the events and what are the group profiles, so that you could find the appropriate activity as well. And then being recognized by Mozilla, which also has events, group profiles. And these are the kinds of things that would be needed to enable those needs. From a staff perspective, right now it's actually really hard to reach communities. You could email all the groups in India and say, hey, there's this policy campaign happening. If you want to be a part of it, that would be great. As Constantina could tell you, it's actually really difficult. It's really hard on our end. We want to recognize, we want to have better ability to see who's doing amazing stuff and celebrate them within Mozilla, because we don't have that unified system. It's really hard right now. And then just delivering consistent experiences, because we don't know when a new group is formed or if a group is doing really great stuff. It's kind of whoever interacts with a group gives a different experience, and we want to be able to create some consistency. So, ready for Lucy's amazing drawing skills. Here's what we're thinking. It's a portal, so it has many of the things that we already have today, but surfaced in a single area. So the ability to discover campaigns and activities. Right now, the Activate website is getting better every day at having a great list of things you can do, of having the campaigns, but it's in a different website. On the top left, Mozillians shows individual profiles, but you don't know if those profiles were made last week or 6 years ago, and you don't know if they're near you or much about them. So that functionality exists, but over at Mozillians, what you're seeing with the Mozilla Hyderabad, that's one of the group pilots. So that's being able to see groups. Right now, that's hosted on an event site. That's not really the right tool for it. And then events has a place you can discover reps events, but that's not all kind of community events, and you can't know which group that was tied to. So there's some missing pieces there. So we were like, what if we were able to have a tool that didn't reinvent the wheel, but surfaced all these things that already exist in one central area? So my next slide is just some of the tools that we already have. We've got Discourse, we've got Activate, we've got Splash. We have the Identity and Access Management Suite that involves Login, Mozillians, and DinoPark, which is like contributor and staff profiles. And can we put this all together? And what would this mean for the community? There's one other tool, slide here if you're really interested in the tooling piece, because we often get questions about how this integrates with Mozillians. Obviously, identity access, not obviously, there's a lot of components in this. There's the SSO, the single sign-on that some of you might already be using and seeing around Mozilla. Common Voice uses this. That's good to go. So as we build this portal, we can already use that. Mozillians for access management, that's like the NDA process, the access groups, that's working. They're still in the process of developing a V2 of the profiles. This is going to be interesting to some of you and not interesting to others. Is still in process, and then there's some like technical things that are not built yet that would make it very difficult to launch with those profiles right now. For example, it's missing read-write access. But with that aside, we're looking to start thinking about how we can make a V1 of this tool. We're currently starting to reach out to different WordPress agencies. The reason we want it to be WordPress is because Mozilla already has a big base in IT that hosts WordPress sites. Also, it means that we can start with a bunch of different existing plugins and then change them out, and also we can get community contribution throughout. We're going to run this very, very openly. Once we have an agency, we will write a blog post. We will introduce everyone to the agency. We will collect feedback at every stage in the process. Once they have a sketch, we will put it on Discourse, and everyone can go in with ideas of what they want it to look like, what's missing. We will also do interviews. We will have beta testing throughout the process as we incrementally start to build this, largely from things that already exist, but as this platform where groups can finally register and be discovered. Cool. That was a lot of talking and I talk fast. Apologies.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Lucy. Are there any questions firstly in the room, and then I will go to the Etherpad questions? Hey, Jason. Jason, you might want to mute because you have a lot of background noise. Thank you. All right.
I think I heard a question, but maybe it was just. Yeah.
I think that was the background noise, or is there a question?
It was Jason, yeah.
Okay, cool. We have one question, Lucy. How can we help on this project? This is amazing. Congrats.
Yay, thank you. So lots and lots of feedback. As I said, at every stage, like right now in the Discourse post, if you have questions or things that you're seeing you want to surface, you can do that now. But the second we've got an agency, largely we're choosing them based on budget. We're choosing someone also who is going to agree to work super openly, which means you'll also be able to contribute code to this project, as well as feedback, QA, beta testing, ideas. Ideas, always, that you'll be able to help. Current timeline. Our goal is to have the agency in the next like 2 to 3 weeks. We'll have chosen an agency. Our goal is to have, and then we'll work throughout H2. Probably our goal is to have a V1 launched by the end of Q3 and kick off work with the agency at the start of Q3, probably like or late Q2. I could put that into months for people who don't live their lives in quarters, which is July. How do you plan to move forwards once the smaller groups have registered? How do you plan to regulate them? So we'll start inviting the groups that are already in the pilot to register here. So groups will have to apply. It won't be like you can just build your own thing and have to send it through. Right now, we've got a few requirements on the pilot site. There are 6 requirements. You can see them. I'll add the link in a second. So are they established? So do they have more than 3 members? Do they hold regular meetings? Those meetings can be in person, they can be virtual, they can happen over Telegram, but do you have some sort of regular cadence of connecting? Do you contribute to Mozilla? And how we're experimenting with this right now, and I think we're gonna need to iterate on this a lot, but that means participating in at least one Mozilla activity every 6 months that's visible. So Splash, using that for events, what you'll be able to see on the portal is that when a community runs an event, so maybe they're participating in the Common Voice campaign, they're like, okay, we're gonna have a Common Voice sprint as Mozilla Pune. That'll show up on the website, so we'll know they've done something. And that's mostly to remove dormant groups, like groups that go inactive and then just stay on the website confusing people who try and engage them and then they're not there. And obviously also if a group enrolls and it's like, we're the Nail Polish Club of Toronto, and you read their application, it doesn't say anything about Mozilla, it doesn't say anything about the mission, we would say, actually, you have to be focused on Mozilla to be registered here. Our welcome and open and follow the CPG, those are related. So that they're letting new people join, that they're not discriminating against people, that they're not doing anything that violates the community participation guidelines. So it's broad. We're not trying to prescribe what groups do, but we want to make sure that groups who are on the platform are active, aligned, and representing Mozilla's values. Do the individual contributors have to register with a certain group? Is it mandatory? Absolutely not. I think having individuals on this site as well would be great. If you're not near a local group or you're more of like a lone ranger, that's totally fine. And I love it that when you go to this portal, you can see groups, but you can also see individuals if individuals are okay with being like discovered in a search. Yeah, no, being a part of a group is not necessary for sure. Will groups be deleted if they are not active? In my dream world, and this is part of the many things that we need to figure out perfectly, is that if a group didn't do anything for 6 months, they would become dormant, which means they wouldn't show up in searches, but they wouldn't be like removed from the site. And they would get an email saying, hey, looks like you haven't done anything in 6 months. If you want to reactivate your group, you just go here and do an activity, and then you'll be marked as inactive, but they go into dormant, and you might be able to go somewhere to look at all the dormant groups so that if you're in an area and you wonder, hey, was there ever a group in my area? You could go and see. But they would distinguish between active and dormant groups.
All right, I don't see any more questions. Are there any more questions in the room? No, I do believe people prefer writing on Etherpad rather than speaking. Thank you very much, Lucy, for being here. I would expect that we would see a discourse topic soon about all this stuff.
Yeah, the second we choose an agency, there'll be a post, and I'll try and come. Renalini and I will come to the reps call like every now and then until Constantina tells us we're here too much to give updates and collect feedback and hear your thoughts. So you'll be hearing a lot more about this. We really want to co-build it.
Yes, I do like regulating stuff. No, I'm kidding. Thank you very much, Lucy, for being here. I am going to pass to topic 2. We are going to announce the Mozillian of the month, April. Yofi is very proudly presenting Diki.
Hello. Okay, hello everyone. It's Yofi from Jakarta. So yeah, we are very happy with the Mozillians of the Month campaign. This is the second term, I think, and we already opened the third term. And yeah, we met Diki first in 2013 at Software Freedom Day event at his campus, where Rara, Fauzan, and Kiki also participated there, representing Mozilla community, of course, in 2013. So then Diki introduced to the FSA program. In 2014, he joined the FSA program and contributing since then to Mozilla community on many different areas, as you can see the details maybe on the discourse link, and also on local communities. So right now, through the Mozilla Community Space program, he helped our community to get in touch with many other different developer communities out there, because he have this developer background as his career path. So that is very important for us. So yeah, I think congratulations to the kid to win the second Mozillians of the Month. Okay. That's it for me. Any questions?
No questions, so I'm going to pass a little bit fast on the council updates because Kiki informed me that Diki would like to also speak a little bit about space, the Jakarta space. I apologize. So Yofi is working on getting a TLDR post about the REPS program and about the 8 years of the program. Lucy has helped on Lucify the program. If you don't know, the term Lucify is when Lucy is going into documents and she changing them look very, very nice. So thank you, Lucy, for the help, and thank you, Yofi, for working on it. All of you as reps are NDA'd, so you will soon see the post from Yofi. Daniela is also working very hardly to get a blog post about the value proposition on the program in an external page blog post. Currently, he's working on the internet citizen, so you will see that coming out soon. And the new council is getting onboarded. They are finishing their onboarding next week. We have somebody who is typing open forum questions. Do Mozilla run institution collaboration? Kiki, is that you?
No, it's not me, but we're missing Diki.
Oh,
Diki was going to give a demo about the presence system for the community space.
I see Diki.
Yeah, Diki, would you like to speak more about that? We can't hear you.
Now you can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a while. Thank you for whoever voted me as Mozillan of the Month. I hope I can contribute more to the Mozilla and more meaningful contribution to the community. So I would like to show you about our online presence that we use in Mozilla community space. That you can see. That you can see it
We're seeing your terminal. Yeah.
right now.
Yes, it's okay now.
This is the homepage of our system, and then we or other community can create an event by clicking the new event, what's the term, and then make sure the availability of the dates, and then fill some information about the community itself. If you already registered, you just can just enter the community name, and yeah, just like basic information, etc. And we have a dashboard for uh, presence here, something like this. So there is a attendance list here. That's it. Because what we built is this app because back then we use paper for presence, and then we count it manually. Uh, there is so much paperwork to do back then, and then we we decided to digitalize it and then reduce a lot of repetition there.
Um,
And we also held
Diki,
a
could you share
yeah
anywhere the link of where like we could see that as well? Did you add it anywhere?
okay
Maybe you can add the GitHub page.
yeah and then yeah and we held a hackathon for contribute to this project uh, in our GitHub repository, uh, and there is about 20 developer who joined the hackathon. And before the event, we list all the bugs and feature requests so they can tackle it. And at the event, we give an overview about the project itself and then what tech stack we use and how to install it. We also provide a dummy database so they can play with. As a result, about 60% about the issue were tackled, and yeah, some of they continue their work at home, and we contribute by communicating through GitHub issue and Telegram group. Yes, basically that's it about the project. And if you are interested to contribute to, please check out our repository. Hopefully this app not only used for Mozilla Space Jakarta, but other space. So it will be useful.
Do we have any questions for Tiki?
That's it.
Thank you, Tiki. By the way, I will actually show that to the Berlin community space because I think that would be interesting for them. Because right now they just have a calendar and they just choose a date and they send an email. Pretty much that's a system that we're following. So that is pretty cool. I'm gonna quickly talk a little bit about open floor questions. And if you're interested in those stuff, maybe we can verbalize them more in the next one. Somebody is asking about Mozilla Run institution collaboration and IoT. There is a IoT Mozilla project Getaway. However, Kalyan, who is an expert on the stuff, is replying that at this point we don't have any collaboration with any institutions. And the question again is it trainers or experts who can help organize a continuous event yearly or quarterly? We have them, says Kalyan, but it depends on the time and place since most of them travel for other events and conferences. I don't know, Kalyan, if you would like to add anything else. I think that's Kalyan that was writing. And the person who is asking for contacts, 1 or 2 contacts. And Kalyan is giving the contents, so we're good to go there. I'm gonna quickly say we have some non-verbal updates. There are some great conversations that you could join on Discourse about gratification for volunteers in Mozilla, volunteers' role in Mozilla workflow and decision chain, and regional local community management in Mozilla. So if you'd like to join those nice conversations, go ahead, read the conversations, and add your thoughts in there. That's why we have this course to all discuss together. I am gonna quickly close this call because we are 2 minutes over time. Thank you very much for all for being here. Thank you, Yofi and Dickens, especially for presenting the Mozillian of the Month. And see you all next week. Keep on rocking the free web.
Bye. Keep on rocking.
Bye.